good-looking, absolutely charming young Southern gentleman.
No, that's a compliment.
Do we gasp
Well,
now?
no, this gentleman finished his education and set off to seek his fame and fortune.
This is a
And
short
as he
story.
set off, lo and behold, he crossed the Mason-Dixon
Oh.
line. Where he discovered it really is a different world. There was no sweet tea. There was no fried okra. And there were no grits.
We won the war for a reason.
He had a friend from the Old South, had moved to Boston, and invited him over, and went into his apartment and met somebody and thought, he's kind of cute. But much to his and his family's and friends' chagrin, it was not only another man, it was a Yankee. And it's worse, people.
Which is worse?
He's from New York City.
Not yet. Double guess.
So anyhow, as you can tell,
Yeah, it took.
we met 25 years ago this past Tuesday in Boston. In Boston.
Stay for Boston.
And we decided after 25 years it's probably going to last.
Maybe.
And we've also been told that the next 25 years are even better.
Oh.
And so this past Tuesday at 5 o'clock, which was the actual day of our anniversary, we did get married. So we wanted to do something a little special on, we have our garden party fairly regularly, but we wanted to do something a little special and have all of the people that we care about join us here for a glass of wine in the garden, followed by a light dinner afterwards.
sweet.
So, as I
Now
said,
you have my story.
Completely different.
Your
be sure you
version.
introduce yourself to everybody, because I was just telling Selma, most of the people here are nice, and most of them we like. So introduce yourself and have a good time.
All right, now we get my story.
I have one more thing, though. One more thing, quickly. My sisters are somewhere lurking in the crowd.
There she is behind you.
And just so, if she starts telling you any stories about our childhood, just remember,
Not true.
we're only allowed to sign her out for a couple hours at a time. And she collects little glass animals.
All right, after we had our weekend with Lawrence, Jeff, and also for some reason dancing happened during that weekend. And Jeff Steele's a wonderful guy, but boy, Dancing with the Stars is not going to be beating down our door. But anyway, I was invited up to Sheffield, exotic Sheffield. I'd never heard of Sheffield. So with the spirit of Marco Polo, I clambered aboard the Peter Pan bus and I headed north. Jeff greeted me at the Sheffield Center with his battered little brown Mazda. Now, a little side note about the battered brown Mazda. It had no idea of the further battering it was going to get. When 6 months down the line, he taught me how to drive a standard shifter. The fact that we survived that and the Mazda survived it speaks volumes. But anyway, so it was a chance to get to know, and Jeff invited me. We went to the little house he was living with Gwen on Berkshire School Road. And I showed up, and there were a couple of things I was sort of curious about of getting to know him. The first, I had about three things, and the first was menu. And my host told me that he had laid in a big supply of hamburger. And if I didn't like hamburger, I gotta have hamburger. The next thing was, I'm a book editor, so it sort of matters to me what you read and who you're reading and interested. So, and I wasn't expecting Dostoevsky, but I looked around and all I saw were, piles and piles of Bold catalogs. These were plant magazines with the zippy titles of The Happy Hydrangea, You and Your Narcissus. And the volumes on this shelf were something like The Manual of Trees in North America. The other one was Gardening's Not Hard Work. That was a mismatch of authors. And the third one, my favorite, was A Man in His Garden. In fact, doesn't get your blood racing, you don't know.
Can we guess?
It wasn't Daniel Steele.
So then the next day I looked around and I was sort of curious about music. And I looked around and there clearly nestled in the favorite number was the top 10 bird calls. Nature's greatest hits. Wow. There were such real thigh slappers as The Scarlet Tanager Sings to You. The Song of the Cedar Waxwork. Let me say it was a different weekend. But the best thing about it was I'm so happy I took that trip up Route 7 because waiting at the other end was a partner who has been loving and loyal, a companion who was interesting and challenging and fresh and fun, and the best friend you could ever want.
That's why we say don't feed them. Oh, we have
One more.
Yeah, no, my, we'll talk.
And the Miata.
Now I have,
Charlie, who is this guy? Is he here?
now I have one other toast I want to make. I think it's at times like this, it's kind of nice to remember the people we care about who are no longer with us. And I don't mean that in sadness or sorrow, but in gratitude for many happy memories. So in addition to some friends that I wish were here, I really want to remember my mother and father.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were born in the 20s and they came in of a generation where this was a lot to take on board.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy always for me or for them.
Right.
But the thing about it was they did take it on board and we were a family. And they accepted and loved Jeff completely. He might have wondered sometimes what he'd gotten himself into, but that's what families are about.
Yeah.
And so one of the nice things about a celebration like this, where it's 25 years in, you're not just looking toward the future, you're able to remember the past. And so in that spirit, I would like to remember friends who are not with us, and I mean our friends, all of us, the larger R, and also to my parents, and I'd like to think they're with us in spirit.
They are. 25 more.
Whoops. Excuse me.
Was that a gas?
Yes. No, that was all.
They're
No, you got that.
going to be serving dinner, so help yourselves.
Wow.
Please.